You
Okay.
you've been prayed in?
No, but we're streaming now, Reverend Michael. I prayed for myself. So welcome everyone who is joining us on YouTube. Welcome to our spiritual mind healing service. I'm practitioner Vance Gardner, and I'll be the one who will be doing the service this evening. So I'm just gonna ask everyone to just center yourselves now by taking some deep cleansing breaths. So just breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, just breathe out. And just center yourself in that one presence. That place of peace, love, joy, and calm within us for a few moments as we just prepare for this presentation. So as we center ourselves, we just recognize that one presence, which is breathing as each and every one here. I just center myself in that presence now, and just allow myself to be a clear and open channel for the expression of this one. And recognizing this one in, through, and as all creation, I give thanks for this presence, which guides us, which is our all sufficiency. And so I know that everyone within the sound of my voice expands their awareness of this one, expand their awareness of who we are, individualized expression of this one. So I'm indeed grateful, thankful for this knowing. I just release these words now and just let it be so. And so it is. So this evening I'll be just sharing with you on the topic, can you see it? Can you be it? I know that when we are not feeling well, sometimes some of us may have gotten diagnosis from doctors and so on, kind of throw us off. Sometimes when we do things and they don't come out the way that we expected, and we do not see success. Sometimes there may be bills, obligations, other things that we want to give, and so on. And we are not seeing it immediately. And there are times in our relationships where we may not feel fulfilled, when we may not feel the joy, the happiness in these conditions. Now, our teaching, The Science of Mind and Spirit, our founder, Ernest Holmes, told us that when we are experiencing these types of situation, we are to turn entirely away from the condition to accept the spiritual prototype of our desire, to accept the love, the light, the health, the joy, the abundance that we may be desiring. Or like Mary Baker Eddy, she had a fall, and after the fall, she fell on snow, and doctors told her that this was a critical condition. But she used her mind to see her perfection, and she received what was considered a miraculous healing. And she said that we can do that whenever we are feeling any discord of any nature. We can use our mind to turn away from that condition and to see the spiritual truth that we desire. That is the solution of love, light, health, joy, abundance, anything that we require at the moment. So Ernest Holmes told us in an article in this month's Science of Mind magazine entitled The Aladdin Lamp, that he said, I am convinced that there's a power within you that you didn't put there, that you can use, a power for good that is available to everyone and is available right where you are today. So I'm going to ask you to get out your lamp and rub it with faith and conviction, rub it with grateful acknowledgement and acceptance, rub it with feeling and imagination. So I want to talk to you about imagination, using it to see that what you desire and to help you to get into that feeling place of realization where you can embody it and be it. Now, imagination from our perspective is not either fantasy or escapism, but an active, creative, and formative faculty of the mind that bridges the spiritual and material realms. It is often described as the scissors of the mind and used to shape thought substance into reality. Now, Charles Fillmore, one of the founders of Unity, told us that imagination is one of the 12 powers of mind. So, can you see it? Can you be it? Can you know that you deserve what you desire, that you are worthy of it, that you deserve your miracle, and that you are worthy of it? So, then, how do we receive it? And we have our spiritual practices, of course, affirmative prayer, the most powerful of our spiritual practices, but we also have meditation and affirmation. But this evening, I want to speak a little about affirmation. in particularly Neville Goddard. I don't know how many people may have known of Neville Goddard's experiment. He did an experiment. Neville Goddard is a spiritual teacher. He's a Barbadian, or was a Barbadian, when he was on this journey on this plane. And he had this experiment to show the power of imagination. And the experiment went like this. He asked the participant to visualize each night as they were falling asleep, to imagine climbing a ladder, to get into that feeling place, really feel themselves using their imagination, climbing the ladder, feel it in their hands, the tension in their muscles to really get into that place. And they were to do this for 3 consecutive nights. Now, at the same time, they were to affirm the opposite. They were to, during the day, they were to create notes saying, I will not climb a ladder. And they were to place these notes where they could see them. And they were to keep telling themselves that they would not climb a ladder. Now, he did this experiment to see if our subconscious imagination outweigh our conscious actions. So he said that after the 3rd night, they were to stop the exercise and to stop thinking about it. Now, what Goddard found was that the people who took part in this experiment, anytime they came near where there was a ladder, they would climb it. Even though they wrote their affirmations, I will not climb a ladder. Every time they came near to a ladder, they just felt this urge, this uncontrollable urge to climb the ladder. So that what Goddard was saying, that whatever you put into your imagination, especially before you go to sleep, because at that time, the conscious mind cannot resist what is being impressed upon it, right? When you're just going to sleep. And he said that that impression is so strong that even if you were to write affirmations, that the affirmations could not override the power of your imagination. I just want to add one thing that we know now that Goddard may not have realized at the time, that when you write an affirmation in the negative, the subconscious does not recognize the negative. What do I mean that is? When you say, I will not climb a ladder, the subconscious does not recognize the not, right? Because invariably, your focus is on the ladder and the climbing of the ladder. So even though I would agree with him that the imagination override the affirmation, because of the nature of the affirmation, I think that kind of throw a little thing there in the wheel, a little spanner into the wheel of that experiment, right? But it shows us the power of our imagination to bring about what we desire, and the power of visualization. So can you see it? Can you be it? However, I came across an article by Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, and he introduced a method that I want to share with you this evening that I believe is even more powerful. and it's called the active imagination. And active imagination is not visualization, right? It's not visualization. Active imagination is first, you relax your mind and you bring a symbol, an image, or emotion into your awareness. Now you allow the subconscious to respond. Now this is where is part of, this is where he departs. No, he said that instead of controlling what happens next, you let the scene unfold on its own. You just observe what comes up. And he said, characters may appear, a conversation may begin, the symbols may change. Your job is not to direct it. Your job is to just witness it and interact with it as if it were real. Now, sometimes I do this, but not intentionally as this, you know. And what Jung discovered something remarkable through this practice. He discovered that when you engage with the subconscious directly, it begins revealing patterns, solutions, and insights the conscious mind cannot reach on its own. Right? So it kind of moves beyond imagination, and it's more like opening a doorway to the real you, the you that most of us do not yet know. Right? And that you knows the solutions that we may be seeking at any time. The thing is to follow the guidance, to be able to see it, to be it. So today, we are called, given what is happening in the world, to see peace. And at this time, it may seem like the most ungodly, in quote, people are ruling over nations and the major institutions in the world. And as part of Centers for Spiritual Living, we are called to play our part in the realization of a world that works for all. Now, to be able to play our part, to see it and to be it, we have to practice the presence and not rely on our own understanding. To see and be what is called the real you who is one with all life and all creation, and the real God. And Ernest Holmes tells us that the two are one. There's a real you in a real God, and the two are one. So to know that, to see that, and to be that is what we are called to be in this moment, at this time, because we are the ones to play our part in the realization of a world that works for all, a world that is awakened to mankind, to its spiritual magnificence, a world based on love, kindness, where we see the divine in everyone, where there no more discard, things like hunger, where everyone can have a home, things like that. If we can see it, and through our spiritual practices allow spirit to guide us and to direct us, then we can be the ones to help and to play our part in bringing that word into our experience. Okay, so I'm gonna stop now and allow you comments. From people are here. You know, don't know how many of you may have tried active imagination before. It's really like talking to that part of you that is one with God in a real conversation, seeing it just like you'll be talking to somebody right beside you, right? And just allow the process to unfold. You can't force it, right? Just allow it to unfold. And I think, as we said on Sunday, you'll be surprised beyond our imagination, beyond our expectations. So comments? Yes, Stevie G.
Need a fuller explanation of the active imagination, or my understanding of imagination is that it can only be in the moment. So what makes it active or inactive? I don't understand the term active imagination. I need some explanation on that.
Okay. All right. Well, that is what Jung called it, active imagination, right? But what he was doing, instead of trying to impress something on his subconscious, right? He just used the emotions, the symbols, the questions to bring him into that space where he could now receive divine guidance, right? And the divine direction and inspiration from his intuition, so to speak. So he called it active imagination. So it's a term that he used.
We're having
But
not
the process itself, though, of becoming still, right? Bringing to mind question you may be dealing with and so on, and then allow the process to just unfold. That is what he was talking about, rather than you trying to impress anything upon it.
Mm-hmm. I get that, but the term, for me, the term is a little, the term is a little misleading, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not a young fan, you know, because like Darwin, in my opinion, he generalizes a lot, you know, because what we call visualization, what we call imagination, the fact that he uses different words in his experiments and things don't make it any difference. So when we have come to understand the use of these terms, and then hear another term now and start exploring that term, I believe it can take us away from the truth we already know. You know, so I believe we need to find the similarities and emphasize that more than trying to learn all these other terminologies, especially from people like Jung. That's my view on that. But I get your point, and yes, it's something to work on.
Okay, Carol. Carol, I see you raise your hand, but you are muted, so I can't hear what you are saying.
I was trying to on. Yes. Well, to my mind, imagination is the key to the kingdom that is spoken about. And I am not a young fan either, but I can understand when he talks about active imagination. I mean, it's like you have the tools, but you don't use it. So, I could be holding a torch in my hand, but until I light it, it is not active. It have gas running through it, yes, and it have the possibility of doing something, but until I light the torch, it's not going to do anything. So to me, that is activating something. So the imagination to me is like a tool. But if you have to use it in order for it to have any effect at all.
Yeah. But I think the main thing that he was emphasizing is to engage your divine self. And he found that was his method to do that, to engage with it.
But I'm not sure if it is possible to not engage with your divine self. Because that's who you are.
consciously, because you're never separated. Yeah.
No.
But consciously, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Vance.
Yes, Andy.
Could you, in a short paragraph, just give an example of, say, a need that would have come up for you, and how you would exercise this principle?
Yeah. All right. So like you have a bill to pay then, right? And at the moment you don't see exactly where the funds and so on is coming from to pay the bill. So you would become still, right? And just bring to mind the question, right? Probably say to yourself, a spirit, what is mine to do in order to be able to pay this bill on time, right? And you just bring that question to mind. And you just relax and listen. And then you engage in the process, right? Like it may say that part of you may say that I'm your all sufficiency. And then you might then say, okay, tell me more about that. And you listen and you engage it, right? And so there are many possibilities. And so, okay, all right. You might say, which possibilities would you suggest that I try first? And you listen and you engage it just like how you've been talking to a real person. That is my understanding of it. I don't know if anybody does that. I have done that at times. I never know what I was doing in terms of active imagination, right? But just reasoning with myself about certain things. But what he's saying, to be mindful of not forcing it, right? But really just listening and being receptive. Reverend Ann, yes, Reverend Ann.
No, she was just doing a thumbs up.
No, I
But
see
also, it reminds me of visioning, really, because the process starts with a feeling of love or gratitude. And instead of posing a picture, which is coming from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind, which is where he's saying that it's a passive approach when you do it that way, because you're imposing something coming from yourself. Whereas the difference with visioning is that when you go within and pose the questions, is your inner spirit, your indwelling wisdom answers. So what's the difference?
Yeah. The thing about visioning, a commentation, okay? Visioning asks, what is spirit's highest idea for me in this situation? You can start with that, yeah. But the process Sorry about that. The process may not necessarily start with that question, right? And vision in have a specific procedure, while this one don't have any procedure per se. You just go with the flow, so to speak. Sean, okay? You can unmute.
Yes, sir. Okay, you kind of lost me that last sentence that you said regarding it don't have any process because then I think what I was thinking of may not go with that because when you were talking, I kind of was taken back to my track and field days. You know, when I was in college and running, and the coach used to tell us, you know, when we're on the track, look, picture the race, everything perfect. And I used to run hurdles, so I'm picturing myself clearing every hurdle and just going and going, and it brought a calm, and I executed some of my best races when I did that. So that's kind of how I was looking at it. And then even now, you know, sometimes I have to do very difficult meetings sometimes, and before I go into the meeting, I visualize just everything working out. And I have this other technique when I use my little Ho'oponopono prayer. But in essence, though, I'm visualizing that meeting and perfect outcome. So that's kind of how I look at the concept of what you're saying
Yeah.
as examples.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Which brings me to a point. We have different tools, and different
Yes.
tools work for different people in different ways. Yeah, visualization is very powerful. I know a lot of athletes who use it, right? And yeah. Some people just able to be still and listen and know what to do, right? But it's whatever you do is what brings you into alignment with that part of you that knows what to do, right? That is what these processes are designed for. And that's what prayer is really about, right? Because prayer is about making yourself receptive to divine guidance, right? Because we usually do use this process. I think Reverend Ann usually use it. Are you ready to receive? And that is what you do in prayer. You make yourself ready to receive. And I think where some people get disappointed in using prayer is the belief that you can tell God what to do. That is not how you use the power, right? That is not how you use the power, right? You can let it know what you want, but how and when, you have to leave that to God, right? And that is one of the things, like in relationships, where people tend to have an issue. Sometimes we make the mistake of one, trying to say how somebody should show up, how they must behave, and so on, right? While our only focus can be on ourselves, right? To be the person that is receptive to a fulfilling relationship, to be the person that somebody who is into a fulfilling relationship would resonate with, right? We cannot tell another person We can't impose our will that way on another person. It's going to lead to disillusionment and disappointment eventually. Right? But we can be that which we are seeking. And then, like magic, who or what is required for that shows up.
Like
Or,
magic.
or,
Like
or you find that even the person that even you might think you are having problems with, you start to see other qualities, other sides within the person of them responding to you. And you realize that you may have been in the situation that you were desiring already. But it is up to you to be what you are looking for. Any comments on that?
Or hi, Isha
Yes,
here, everybody. Or you can realize that there is no alignment and you can make the choice to be free because that is also a possibility. I find that persons might not explore that, and because we're not making choices that are in alignment with the truth of who we are and how we feel, then we stay in circumstances where all relationship teach us something, but we can overstay. We can overstay our time within a particular space and a particular mindset. So you're free to go as well.
All right. Reverend Anne?
I think Roy was before me, you know. Roy?
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi, Dr. Roy.
Roy is fine too. But thank you. For me, I don't know if this is an example, but when I was at the University of Missouri, um, I now call it the University of Misery. I really was having a terrible, terrible experience with my supervisors. Um, there was a lot of racism, and I was getting a lot of um just fight. And I showed up every day. I was being very polite. I was being the dutiful um colleague. And I had a bad experience at a conference. We all from the department went to a conference. I went and supported their presentations. They didn't come and support mine. And one night I went to dinner and I saw all of them at dinner, the dean, the faculty, students, and I was not invited, but I just showed up. And I went, got my own seat and I ate and I left. And I just kept praying and said, okay, God, what is this lesson? What is the lesson in all of this? And um, I really tried to stay still for quite a number of days or maybe weeks. And then what came to me was, Roy, this is not where you're supposed to do your tenure track career. This is just an example. This is just so don't try to stay. Just move on to somewhere else. And then I made a decision. Okay, I'm no longer going to stay here. When my time is up, I'm gonna apply and leave. And then I got a job to work as a professor in New York, which I am now. Another example is for me, I was very intentional that when I came into nursing, I wanted to go to the top of the profession. And each of the degrees that I did to get to difference, I used to pray and say, okay, God, what is the next move? What is the next degree that I should do? Where should I apply? Who should be my mentorship? And it just always kind of work out in that way. I was house shopping recently. I'm like, God, which of these, where should I go? And then I just stayed still and just prayed and just allow it to kind of come to me. And it just always worked out in that way. So I don't know if those are examples of, active imagination. But whenever I find myself in a rut or I'm unsure of what to do next, I usually say, okay, God, this is what I see for myself. This is what I want, but what do you want for me? What is your highest idea of me? And let me be that. And then I usually follow the direction. So I don't know if that's
important, yeah.
but just hearing that.
May I respond?
Yes, Reverend Ann, you may.
Perfect, Dr. Rowe. It's not magic, dear. Magic means that there is something external that you think outside they're going to do it for you.
I just
It
using that
comes-
as a term. I
Don't
never
use that
really
word,
says magic.
because
Yeah, go on,
only
Reverend Ann.
once you have the universe, which have all of the infinite possibilities within, all you have to do is use yourself as the form, and then the substance fit in. As Roy said, just say, well, Father, what is your highest thing for me? But I tell him, say, well, me want 3-bedroom and it must have 3 floor and it must have two-car garage. So, Father, what is the highest and best for me? And he's led by the Spirit to the right place. The right place means that the funds that going by this, that everything will fall into place. That is the partnership we have the universe. Is not magic. That's all I have to say.
That is true, Reverend Ann. I agree with you. Sandy?
To my
Is
mind,
it something
to what,
Dr.
Reverend?
Roy? I have to call you Dr. Roy. It take too long to get there. But I have to say Dr. Roy. Hug it up. Wonderful. And what I like about what you about those examples is that, and it's something that we need to do more of, is that you ask and then you listen. And for me, that is active imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was listening to Steve, we all have different. You must remember that spirit comes through us through our consciousness and our construct. And so people call it by different names and different things. But really, what you described, Dr. Roy, is for me the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Ask and then listen, because too often we say, God, I want this, and make it happen this way because I only have X amount of money in the bank and I have my eye on something. We need to ask and allow it to happen. So when they say let go and let God, we also need to say let go and allow God. And for God's sake, listen. Well done.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you, Rev.
Can
All right,
I-
Sandy.
Yes. So I think it's a mixture of all of both what Reverend Ann just said and what Reverend John just said, because it's really it's more than just saying, ask what there is, what is my highest and best and what it is for me to do. I believe that we need to know, to be clear what we do want. But what we don't do is to say, okay, so it must come by winning the lottery, or it must come because I'm going to this conference this weekend and somebody there is going to offer me a job. That is not my job at all. But I need to be clear what it is that I want, and I don't think I think it's we ought to also describe it to want it. And my phrase is this or something better, because how I imagine it in my mind, there could be something better for me. So, but I still need to be clear as to what I do want, and then leave the rest up to spirit to take care of the details.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you want, but not how it's to come.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
All right.
too.
You're saying something, Leighton? I think,
Yeah.
yes, quick. Yeah.
And I'm speaking from my own experience. And one of the greatest influences in my life has been my mother. And
Mhm.
hear her all the time. Whenever a challenge comes forward in the intellect or even in the imagination, because the imagination is also can be, part of the intellect. Her response is, leave it to God. Thus, it even in terms of the desire, I just be still and know that I am God. And God is no thing, nothing, no thing. And that is what stillness is. And someone spoke about freedom. And that's what freedom is. And that's what peace is. And that's what love is. Because love means that there is nothing opposed to. And that's what love is. That's what perfect love is. And I have found through all my material experiences, and I listened to Dr. Roy, and I can understand where he's coming from, being in academia and even from I was in school. And the wonderful thing about that strength that my parents gave me was that what is happening on the outside has nothing to do with you or God. And also, the fact is that when you, and someone again said, let go, when you let go, the letting go has to also be the desire. Because what it is that you desire ought to be what God desires for you. And in every situation, when I think of the miracles in my life, where I've been, what I've done, when I tell people that I used to administer the entire court system of New York City, the entire court system of New York City. And it is just amazing. And I was never educated in America in terms of law. I was never, and I was around not mainly people of my race or my nationality, but Americans, white, Jewish. In fact, my closest friends were Jewish, and I was going to bar mitzvahs and all these sort of things, and I was the only black person. They would come and apologize that, there isn't. We're sorry that you are the only one here, which was amazing to me because I didn't see color or see it. I just thought we were all human, and just the wonderful experiences, high school. The headmaster didn't think that I could pass my O levels, and when the results came out the next day and I got straight distinctions, he said, congratulations. And then halfway in the year, he met me on the corridor and said, do you think you can breeze through A level the way you breeze through O level? And I did, but I never ever concerned myself with, I didn't desire A's and all these sort of things. Never even thought about it. When I was told the class of degree I got at university, when I asked them what was that, yes, they said, oh, you got upper second class honors. I said, what is that? I didn't even know. And thus, I think where you start is leave everything to God, even the desire. Even the desire. You have to let that desire be divine. And God works out everything. Everything. And that is where the miracle shines forth. That's where the miracle shines forth. And the miracle comes from God. Sorry.
Yeah, but when you get a burning desire and so on, you remember that we are not separated from God, right? So God speaks to us also through that burning desire that we feel, right? So and as Reverend Michael said, the important thing is to know how you want to feel and not let conditions rule you, right? Remember that the world is spiritual, even things that appear to be material, right? That the world is really spiritual, and is to turn away from the appearances to see what is really real, awaiting our recognition and acceptance. So that I don't think we should ignore that real burning desire that come within us. You know, anybody have any burning desire for prayer? Because it's because of the time, I think I need to take some prayer requests. Let me see if any in the chat. You can place your prayer requests in the chat. So Reverend Michael say, what you want is the feeling, that feeling of what you want, right? So that is what when we said to get into that feeling space and know it, you know? Okay, I'm trying to see peace in the nation and the world from Reverend Anne. Hold on, no, I think it's some old messages I'm seeing here. So, okay, hold on. Somebody could tell me the prayer request for this week?
Help for Dawn, sorry. Right action for Roy.
Hold on, hold on, Sandy. Let me note of them. What is it for Dawn?
Health.
Health. Okay, and right action for Dr.
Right
Roy.
action in his life and his friend. And he called a name for Miss Tony Ann Baker. And then treatment of health for Dawn. Accomplishment continues as Leighton. Peace in the nation and the world, Reverend Anne.
Okay, all right. So health for
Roy,
mother. Dawn also health.
Yes, prosperity for the Roden family.
Right.
And also health. So add health to Roy's mom, Miss Yvonne.
Right. Dawn and Roy's mom. Anybody else?
I'm not seeing any more health. Carol has 2 EKK. What's that? Desire literally means of the father. 2 EKK, is that some social media speak that I've never heard of? 2 EKK speak. Desire literally means of the father. Don't understand that.
No, it's okay. That's not what I typed.
Okay.
All right, so Dawn.
ELL.
2
All right, so it's
12.
Dawn, Roy's mother,
Mhm.
and Jem from Practice, Yvonne Oliver.
More again.
And I
Uh,
just put a couple in for health as well in
so
the chat.
it's, all right, Roy's mother, Dawn, Carol, and Jem, 4 persons.
And Courtney and Camille, also for health.
Courtney and Camille. So that's 6.
You have
Okay.
prosperity for the Roden family?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So it's just health and prosperity. Okay. So that's
Right actions for Juliet and the J. Smelly. I can't read this one. It came in by telephone, I can't remember.
All right. Let me do the health first.
Yeah, there's another right action that just came up
Right.
in the life of Juliet and Jay Smelly.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Just know with me now. Yeah, there's only one. This one is perfect. This one is complete. This one is the essence of perfect health, mind in the body. And I know that this one expresses through each and every one who have made this request this evening. It expresses through Dr. Roy's mother, through Dawn, through Carol, through Jem, through Camille, and through everyone who is open and receptive to this power, to this presence. This power, this presence that reveals the truth of everyone now, which is wholeness and perfection for all who made this request. So I know that anything unlike health is now dissolved into the nothingness from which it came. And the spiritual blueprint at the center of their beings is now manifesting in all aspects of being. And anything that needs to be healed is now healed. And what is true is revealed. I see this, I know this, and I accept it. And I release these words now to that law that makes it so, and so it is. So I know that there's one source and infinite supply. I know that this one source operates through infinite channels of self-expression. And I know that this source is always giving abundantly, more than enough. And I see the Roden family expanding into this awareness. That spirit source is the all sufficiency of all that is required. So in this consciousness, prosperity is revealed in their lives and in their affairs and in everyone who resonate with this knowing. They have enough money substance to do all the things that is required. They have more than enough to share, more than enough to do the things that allow them to express this indwelling spirit within them. So I know in this awareness, joy is their experience right here, right now. Yes, there's more than enough. And I'm thankful for this awareness. I'm thankful for this knowing. And I just release these words now to that law that makes it so. And so it is.
It is.
Were there any other requests?
Right action for a
So it
couple
is.
people.
Right action for who?
Dr. Roy, his friend Tony and Baker.
Okay,
Right
Dr.
employment for Aisha. That's right action too.
Right action. Okay. So I know there's one power, one presence, called by many names, the living spirit almighty. And this one seeking to experience more of itself, expresses itself through everyone and all creation, knowing itself through Roy's friend.
Roy.
It is never separate from any of its creation. And in this awareness of our oneness with this power and this presence, we are guided into the paths of right activity. So let's allow spirit to guide and direct, so we know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and we see clearly. And right action is established in our affairs and our experience. I know this for everyone who have made this request now. So they are open and receptive to this guidance, to this direction. They know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And all is well in their life and affairs now. So I give thanks for this knowing. I give thanks for this guidance. I just release these words now to that law that makes it so. And so it is. Okay, so that's our prayer request. Any more, Jen?
Reverend Michael wanted gratitude because he has been asking for some prayers for right action at work.
Harmony, yeah.
So he wants a gratitude. He says he has seen signs of answered prayer.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So we give thanks. Our hearts are filled with gratitude in the recognition of the power, the presence that expresses through all, that provide all that we require, that guides and directs us into the paths of right useness of the law of mind. How wonderful, how glorious this experience, this knowing. So we are grateful. We show our appreciation with our liberty, the recognition that our lives are a gift, and what we do with them is our gift to that one, knowing and experiencing itself as each and every one of us. So we give thanks. We give thanks. And I just release these words now. And just let it be, knowing that it is so, and so it is.
It is.
Okay, and thank you, Reverend Mike. I'm just going to share some I'm looking for my sharing. Hold on. Share screen. Hold on this. Okay, let me see. I'm looking for, I'm not seeing my share screen button. Okay, I find it. I found it. So, giving thanks, we are about Thanksgiving service on Friday, this Friday, March 20th at 10 a.m. at the University Chapel as we celebrate the life of Pansy Bisnot, right? So please join us. The Reverend Michelle Senegal will be officiating. And I'm encouraging us all, especially those of us who know Pansy, to come out and show our support. We still have guitar and piano classes, and we have what? Is it 20 scholarships, Reverend? Huh? And these classes are at the temple.
So far, yes, 20 persons are sponsors. Yes.
Right. And that's certainly if it's 2 p.m. Because I think the last time it came down to 12.
Yes, it was 12 that he had his class. So.
All right.
It's
So
at
it's
12
on
now.
Sunday. Okay. And it started from the 4th of March, Self-Mastery, the Emergence of the True Self, with Reverend Dr. Michelle Senegal. And you can register at the link provided in the notice, right? They're still taking registration, Reverend, and it's now closed.
I think it's closed now, you know. It's what they're
Okay.
going to the 3rd class next week.
All right.
It's 8 classes.
Right. You can still check tomorrow to see if they will allow you. But
yeah, we'll ask Rev if you're calling. We'll ask.
Right. But we definitely have Tai Chi on Fridays at 9 to 10. We're having Tai Chi this Friday though, given the Thanksgiving service. Not certain. But the contribution is $2,000 per person. And on the Sunday, March 29th, at 10:45, somewhere in that region, we will be having our 44th annual general meeting. So a person wishing to serve on the leadership council, you can speak with Reverend Michelle Senegal. I don't know if Jen is the person officiating at this meeting.
No, Vance, the president of the board, will do that, Mr. Theo Smith.
Okay. So tithes and offering. If you wish to support our ministry financially, we have payment options available in both Jamaican and US dollars at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. Prayer support. Prayer support is available with Reverend Michelle at prayer.templeoflightcsl.org. Or you can speak with a practitioner at 876-494-9000. And of course, before you press that donate button, you can just say our blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. So be it. Thank you, Father, and so it is. And now, feel free to open your mics as we're going to do the prayer for our center. Prayer for our center. The Temple of Light,
The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living
is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community, from which the Christ, peace, love,
and
And joy emanate.
to touch,
to
heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ
illumines us.
Our center and our environment. Our spiritual community
is filled with
and surrounded by the presence of God. And is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands
our consciousness of truth,
guiding us ceaselessly
along the
paths of
wisdom,
spiritual
growth,
unfolding,
and enlightenment.
We are blessed. And to God be the honor
and the glory
forever
and ever.
And so it is.
So it is.
Now the prayer for Jamaica. The radiant
light of God's
love
is now
flowing through us
and from us
to
everything and everyone it touches.
The eternal
light of God's love now completely fills,
covers
and surrounds our island Jamaica.
Intensity.
The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free.
The light of
God's love is growing
and glowing
in intensity in the hearts
and minds
of mankind everywhere. Love, health,
harmony,
goodwill,
peace,
uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is.
And so it is.
This.
Thank you very much. So let's join me in this closing affirmative prayer. So we give thanks. We give thanks for the sharing this evening. recognizing the one power, the one presence, expressing through and as everyone who participated this evening. So not everyone who participates have a greater awareness of who we are and why we are here. So we live in this consciousness of oneness, of gratitude. And as we go our seemingly separate ways, we know that we are one, never separated, always connected. So I give thanks for this experience this evening. Give thanks for all who participate. And I just release these words now, knowing that it is as I have spoken, and so it is.
So it is.
So thank you everyone who participated.
And thank you,
Thank you,
Vance.
Vance.
Very powerful message.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Vance. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Reverend John. Thank you, Dr. Roy. Thank you,
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Shauna Cage,
everyone.
Jennifer,
Bye, Ray.
Harold,
Thanks, Vance.
everyone,
Love you.
Lovely
Reverend
service.
Michael, Reverend Ann, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.